maybe not all advancements are good advancements because there's a new AI product that is creating a firestorm online. And that's kind of putting it lightly. The company behind this product is called Rewind, and they primarily until now have sold an app that records everything you do on your computer or phone, everything in your digital life, then uses AI to help you surface insights from all of that data. So it'll do things, you're automatically capturing and indexing meeting notes. You're able to quickly find specific information or messages, and you can kind of get automatic summaries and breakdowns of literally everything that happened in your digital life day in, day out. Kind of like having the perfect memory. They're also not like some crazy side project or startup. They've raised $33 million from people like Sam Altman at OpenAI and Andreessen Horowitz. But their new product is really what's getting people going a little crazy. It is called Pendant, and Pendant takes everything I just talked about many steps further. It is a wearable device like a necklace that actually captures everything that you hear and say in the real world. And this possibility that, oh my gosh, everyone could soon be wearing a device and walking around recording everyone else is controversial, to say the least. So on one hand, the company has thousands of pre-orders in just a week or so after launching this. The CEO and co-founder Dan Siroker has been pretty vocal on X about all the possible benefits of the technology. I mean, there's a lot of good things you can do with the ability to never, ever forget an interaction ever again. On the other hand, many, many people online are pointing out this could go really wrong. Obviously, it invades the privacy of others, turns every interaction into something that's, on camera and on mic. Interestingly, noted investor Jason Calacanis, of the All In podcast, said, quote, only a deranged lunatic would want to live in a world where their every word is recorded and summarized for all time by a tiny covert pendant. He even said to the founder online, not saying you're a deranged lunatic, Dan, but you're going to cancel this project and regret it, 100% guaranteed. Now, Paul, I don't have a lot of questions here. I want to just give you the floor because I know you had some strong reactions to this and you engaged a little bit with Rewind's CEO online. Like, walk us through what you thought of this.
Yeah, I mean, I try really hard to be neutral in a lot of this stuff. And like I've said before on the podcast, I think oftentimes we're just trying to present the information and let people make their own decisions. There are just some categories and some ideas that I feel pretty passionately shouldn't exist. And this would definitely be one of them. So I kind of like kept my mouth shut for a couple days. Like I saw this thing and I was watching the tweets. I follow Dan, I follow the company. Mainly because they were part of the inspiration for my law of uneven AI distribution I wrote earlier this year. So when I created like the 3 variables that would determine the benefits of AI, of understanding, access to, and then acceptance of, they were the product I had in mind when I thought about the acceptance of, meaning Mike may love this thing, you may love this thing as the listener, somebody else may love this thing, Andreessen Horowitz may love it, Sam Altman may love it, and they're going to get the benefit of it. I will never, ever, ever use this product. And so for me, I won't have the benefit of it because I am not willing to accept what I would have to give up to get that benefit. So all that being said, Brian Halligan, co-founder and chairman of HubSpot, a friend of mine, tweeted out the other night, like, cool or creepy, I think was all he said basically. And he did an image of the pendant. And I replied, I was like 100% creepy. Like this product category should not exist. The AI wearables that are always listening, like recording, just is not something that we should have in society. So that was kind of it for a moment. And then I saw Dan, the founder, tweeted out, like basically he's been getting a lot of pushback from Jason and others. And he keeps throwing in people's faces like, hey, well, we've got over 3 million views and 3,000 pre-orders and whatever. So like, screw the haters kind of thing. So he posted though a video of like how they're dealing with this number one pushback of privacy invasion. And so I was like, all right, I'll play the game. I clicked to see what it was. So here is what so again, imagine a device that maybe I see you wearing, maybe I don't, and you are recording everything, every conversation that's happening. You're on the train, you're recording everything around you. You're in a coffee shop, you and I are talking on the phone, we're talking in a coffee, like everywhere. You're just recording literally everything in your life. So this is how they are currently positioning that they're going to solve for not invading people's privacy. It says this FAQ on their site. How can we prevent people from being recorded without their consent? This is what it says. People loved that we plan to offer features to prevent people from being recorded without their consent, but many were curious what specifically we were thinking. So I'll share two of our ideas. Now, keep in mind, they are launching a product they are selling right now that he claims they have over 3,000 orders for, that they have ideas of how they're going to prevent people from being recorded without their permission. So these are their ideas. One, only store recordings of the user and anyone else who has verbally opted in. Using voice fingerprints and speaker, I don't even know what this word is, diarization, it's possible to tell who said what. If a person hasn't previously said, quote, sure, you can record me, then don't store anything they say. And it is as if they never said a thing. So that's idea number one, is people are going to opt in or out of being recorded. Number two is only store text summaries of what they said, not verbatim, transcripts and recordings. Summaries are basically what a fantastic note taker would have written down manually, but in this case, it is done for you automatically. These are just two of many ideas that will help us achieve our goal of making sure no one is recorded without their consent. These are exactly the kind of features the device depicted in that one Black Mirror episode should have had. So I was like, okay, I can't not do this. So I replied to him on Twitter. I said, so in order to get value from the use cases featured on the site, the person wearing the device will have to constantly ask everyone they interact with for permission to record them, ? That seems clunky, awkward, and unrealistic at best, which Dan, to his credit, replied. He said, fair criticism for people who meet for the first time, but it will work seamlessly really well for people you meet often who only need to opt in once, like my spouse. So I will just read what I replied. I said, I really appreciate the entrepreneurial spirit here and the willingness to take and respond to critique. I think best in practical situations. So, first time I see my buddy with one of these on, he asks for permission to record our coffee meeting. Maybe it's business related. I hesitantly say, sure, to avoid friction, even though I find it very odd he's asking. Next time we're together is at a bar, just hanging out in a more personal and casual setting, talking about friends, family, work, and other personal stuff. He's wearing it again, the pendant. And I assume recording everything we say, since I have given him permission previously. Do I need to now ask him to stop? How does he make it stop? Do I even trust the company that makes it and that everything my friend is recording really is private and secure? Because maybe I have no idea who Rewind is or what that thing on his neck is. So I said, I just think the product is missing a few steps on the consideration of all the people who don't want to be recorded and or won't trust these devices. And then I concluded by saying, if my buddy told me his iPhone was recording everything we say, I'd ask him to turn it off 100 out of 100 times, no matter the setting. And I trust Apple more than any company on earth. And the reason I say that is because I literally have their watch and their phone in my pocket and on my wrist everywhere I go. So if I didn't implicitly trust Apple, then I wouldn't be doing that. And I would still, Mike, if you showed up and said, hey, my phone's now recording my life, I would be like, dude, turn that off. Come on, man. We're like, you don't need to be recording all this.
Right.
So then my final comment, which Dan didn't acknowledge or reply to, is I said, not sure if the team has any ethicists on staff or as part of an advisory board supporting product development, but I feel like their perspectives could be very valuable to proactively consider and solve for complex scenarios around this product concept. So again, this is not meant to bash entrepreneurship, Dan's efforts, like what Rewind is doing. Again, I have total respect for people who are trying to build on top of AI and do cool things. It was the fact that they replied and said they have ideas of how to protect privacy. I am sorry, but when you're invading the privacy of everyone around you, you are making massive leaps about trust in that company, which no one knows, and in technology that they don't understand. And I just feel like not only is it probably going to be illegal in many places, I feel that it is highly unethical. And to me, these are the kinds of advancements AI allows that should not exist. I probably feel the same way, honestly, about Meta's Ray-Ban glasses. I don't know if there's going to be some light that tells you it's recording everything, but I just don't like the idea that we're going to enter a part of society where everyone is just literally walking around recording everything. And I get the push, but like, oh, everybody's got their phones anyway. Like it's different. Like your
Right.
phone, holding your phone up and you record, like, okay, I get it. And I guess you could go overtly record on your phone and not tell somebody, but that's unethical and immoral too. So you can't really stand on that ground. So yeah, I don't know. Again, respect to Dan for commenting and replying to people pushing back on it. I do hope Jason is right in that they cancel the product, and
Hmm.
I hope we don't actually have to deal with this product existing.
One thing that jumped out to me in the conversation too is there's a fair amount of people are like, "Oh, what are you so upset about? Wait until you find out tech companies have been doing the same thing forever." And it's like, well, that's a intellectually ridiculous argument because I'm
Exactly.
sorry, like it just is. You're wrong. Like, A, people have been furious about that
Right.
for over a decade. B, there have been lawsuits over it for over a decade. And C, even if nothing bad happened to these companies for doing it, everyone's pissed. So we're just supposed to say it's happened before. Let's make
Right.
it even worse. That's an insane argument to me.
Yeah, we can't give up our ethics and morals just because people have done it before or the government
Right.
does it. Like it's
Right.
just so I don't know. I mean, again, this goes to we've talked many times on this about this whole idea of responsible AI principles. Like every organization should have them. Not every organization is going to have ethicists on staff, and even when they do, they don't necessarily listen to them, as happened with Google and other companies previously. Um, but I think you have to at least put the effort in, and you have to have the diverse perspective from people, and you need people asking the hard questions of the product team and of apparently of the founders
Mm,
sometimes to challenge the ideas. Like it can't just all be about there's money to be made and you have some altruistic use case in mind for people with Alzheimer's or whatever the altruistic use case is here that they're justifying this. But at some point, like it's what you have to give up and the sacrifices you have to make to like people's privacy and well-being of the larger society, it's just not worth it. And I
right.
unfortunately, like that's not how tech works. They sometimes just race forward and build things because they can and they don't want to hear that maybe they shouldn't.